Good morning. Good morning. This is Katerina Satori. I am taking a risk. I love risks. Taking a little bit of a risk of a Wi-Fi connection at the parking lot in my gym. Good morning, darlings. Let me know, can you see my video clear? I'm taking a creative risk of live streaming from a parking lot at my gym because there is a glorious lighting here. I'm just kidding. But I'm on the way to the gym, and one of the things that I am able to deliver so much content because I don't separate my leadership from the rest of my life. I don't separate my content sharing from the rest of my life. I simply take you with me. And good morning, my loves. Oh my goodness, I see such glorious souls are joining. Thank you so much. I'm gonna get straight to it. There is a collective anxiety wave is happening this morning. And the reason I can speak to that is because I feel it. Last night, I began to receive a stream of content that's called Visionaries with Anxiety. And I began to contemplate on that, and I wanted to give it a voice, my loves. Hello. Yes, all of you can see me clearly, right? This is angels on our side. So I wanted to give that topic a voice, darling, because for the longest time, number one, I had no idea that I had an anxiety, number one. Number two, I had no idea that anxiety is a part of occupying a human vehicle called your body. If you own a body, anxiety will be an occasional visitor in your experience. Visionary and anxiety, exactly. No, not leaving. No, I'm not leaving, sorry. People like, are you leaving from the parking spot? No, I claim, this is my sovereign parking spot. It's I go to this cute gym, my loves, and it's a tiny parking lot. But I just claim this spot during the transmission while more people joining. So there is two things. The reason I wanted to open up this conversation, it's because number one, you're not alone. Number two, I struggle with that too. And two key points that I wanted to share with you that was a huge epiphany for me. One is you can have an anxiety, have no idea that it's an anxiety, right? Number two, it's a part of living in a human body. So it's not a question whether you have it, it's a question of do you notice it? And do you allow it to run your decisions, your choices, the way your frequency operates? Or do you see it and you have a bunch of tools, the most effective tools that you learned to rely on to navigate a very natural part of human experience? Anxiety is a background noise that feels like something is off in this world. Something is not all right in our existence. You know, as I describe it, living with that expectation that another shoe will drop. That's how I describe anxiety. Everything is okay, everything is safe, you know, everything feels okay, but what if another shoe will drop? So this is welcome to the human body. Welcome to the planet Earth. Welcome to the human body. Nothing is wrong with you. It's part of this whole shebang called human experience, right? Imagine just releasing the pressure of thinking that something is wrong with you. Let's just exhale all of it and just say, this is my favorite tool, my loves. I don't mind looking awkward in front of you. I'm totally at peace with it. So if you ever come to my private immersion, we're gonna do these awkward, loud, primal sounds. right? Because we have to have a little bit of humor in this human experience, not a little bit, a lot. So one of my physical ways of shifting that background static noise from my human body is doing this exercise. One of my spiritual mentors, Raquel, taught me. She's a somatic therapist master. And she says, you have to move that energy out of your body. You ready? Let's do this together. So we awkwardly on camera together. Okay, so you take a deep breath and fill your belly like a balloon. And then, okay, I'm talking and demonstrating. Okay, one more time. I told you it's going to be awkward. Not for me, maybe for some of you. Okay, don't cheat. Let's do this together. It's going to make you feel better. Those of you who are doing it together, I love you. All right, darlings, if you just joined, let's do this. Like, I pay a lot of money to learn these tools, and I'm giving it to you for free. I'm using all kind of inspiration tactics with you this morning. All right, my loves, let's do this. Hi, loves. Let's do this. We're going to take a deep breath, and like, this is the reason why I spend a lot of time in my car when I drive and I make this bold sounds. You know, I'm like, nobody's freaking hearing me. Maybe if somebody stops on the stop sign and they see me, there's sounds of birthing, Adama says. Yeah, exactly. Sounds of birthing of your true self. You know? And you do these sounds, and what you're doing, you're giving yourself a gift of open up the pressure valve in your body and releasing a little bit of pressure. Instead of, I'm fine, I got this under control. I'm a strong leader who doesn't get stressed, right? You know, that narrative, let's just release that, because we all have physical body that gets sometimes filled with the pressure of navigating 1,000 pieces of information moving at us at every direction, responsibilities of leadership, holding space for the people that you guide who are going through their own rebirth processes, right? Connecting to your inner child, holding your inner child, like, we got this, it's all right. So the more authentic we are about this, that there is such an experience as a background unease. You know, it's a sense of unease, and you can discover that sense of unease if you haven't tapped into it by meditating for about 20 minutes or 30 minutes. And you begin to feel what, darlings? You begin to feel restlessness arising from your body, right? And you're like, oh my God, and all those thoughts and all those feelings and restlessness. So you can tap into that background anxious vibration that simply lays suppressed in the body. And the moment you start walking this path of awakening, which is really a path of returning to your authenticity, that's what awakening is all about. You know, people can call it whatever they want with the fancy terms. The awakening is journey back to your true self and taking mask after mask after mask. Mask, I am fine, I don't need help. Removing that. Mask, I'm not going to talk about anxiety in my path of leadership. Removing that, right? And you just begin to embrace this wide range of the human experience. So if you consider yourself a visionary is the person who conceives a vision for a better future, a better life, you know, in your zone of genius, in a sacred genius that you get to bring here. And if you are committed to bringing that vision to the ground, not just holding it on etheric planes, right? That's one level of mastery. But to bring it to the ground, you will be asked to go through this crucible that is called getting to know every cranny, what is that American expression, nook and cranny in your body, and meeting one shadow layer, another shadow layer, one fear, another self-doubt. Oh, wow. And finding wisdom and liberation in that process. And finding magic in that process instead of beating yourself up. I should have been free from this. I can't imagine that I feel anxious. What's wrong with me? Right? That's available. What I invite you to consider, my beloved community, is that your human body is a battlefield of higher frequencies and low vibration. Right? Moment by moment, you have this dance between your lower nature that operates on the level of survival and your higher nature that is connected to your higher self, connected to this remembrance of your divinity and of your oneness. And the true path of awakening is realizing these two natures inside of you, bringing your higher self into your body and merging it, alchemizing your lower nature, not rejecting it, but embracing it and loving every part of it until it becomes transformed through the power of your self-acceptance. Right? So anxiety is a very powerful gift that arises on the body to remind us. To remind us what, my loves? Let me know in the comments. That it's part of a human experience. And then you become curious. You know, that's how I started. I became curious. I was like, oh, wow. So there's these different levels of working with it. First level is a physical level, right? Richard Rudd, the author of the Gene Keys, who brought us such revolutionary wisdom, said, the most difficult thing for a modern human being is to achieve deep physical relaxation. And I believe he is precisely right. Why do you think hot yoga became so popular? Because in the 90 minutes of sweating your tail off through these different postures, you can't help but be present in your body. Be in, you know, that sense of deep physical relaxation that you feel after hot yoga. That may be the first sensation that you have felt in a really, really long time. For us Westerners, it's truly a challenge to find a way to relax our physical vehicle. I keep saying it, the vehicle, because we are, in a way, like in that Avatar movie, darlings. Our higher self is what drives this avatar called human vehicle. But what happens for majority of people, before they remember that, they go with this, you know, severed link from their true guidance. And their ego personality is running the show, and the ego personality is only satisfied, you know, not for long, but for some time, with doing, right? The more I produce, the more valuable I am. And ego personality is terrified of failure, terrified of trying something new, terrified of sharing creativity with the world. You know, ego personality expects failure and invests so much of life force into anticipating failure that it can't help but manifest it. Right? It's such a fascinating conversations, my loves. I am in it with you. I'm simply giving it a voice right now. So I was just sharing with one of my beloved clients that every big vision, Great Spirit is asking me to commit to bringing, there is going to be turbulence and self-doubt of my personality, not my soul. My personality will go through a breakdown every time, because personality is so invested in looking good, so invested in self-protection, so invested in approval. I expect that. Like, oh, here's my personality doing this crazy dance again. My soul remembers what's really important is to be a flexible vessel for service to the greater good. Get out of my way, get out of my way, get out of my way. So I'm going to share with you a few tools that help me move through an anxiety by embracing it. The first one is I shared this magical medicine with you, my loves. I just ordered 3 bottles this morning. It's how would I say it? It takes so much for me to take a stand behind a product. In the last 7 years of me sharing content, I remember vouching for a specific product maybe 3 times. So if I ever introduce you to a product or recommendation, it's because I wholeheartedly stand behind it and I use it. I personally use it. I get it to my clients. So I shared with you, my loves, this amazing product by Tourmaline Spring CBD. It's not oil-based. That's the difference. I used to take chunks of oil into my body. It would make me feel all fuzzy inside. But then the body would be like, thanks, Katerina, my liver couldn't break down all that oil. As you know, human body is 90% of water. Oil and water don't mix. If you would like to make an experiment, just put a little bit of drop of oil in a glass of water. What will happen? The oil will float. That's what happens when you ingest CBD based on oils. Your liver says, give me a break. So instead, this is the product that I use when I do my live streams, when I do healing session with my client, and I'm actually going to have the founder of this creation, Seth. He will be at the live stream with me probably in a week before I go to Bali. I want to bring him to you because when I first heard him speak, I recognize people on the level of their frequency. It's a visceral recognition. It's like, oh, this man has done his work and he's doing his work. This is an initiate level consciousness right here in front of me. And I begin to watch him, I begin to watch how the person shows up, what's the message, what the frequency. And then I decided to try his product when he made it very clear that if you put it in water, your body absorbs it, your channels begin to open. And it's amazing because if our body has learned to be constantly in a stressed response, it's very difficult to ground the vision that's coming through because the body is constantly in the stress, right? My hair is not done, but I'm going to the gym, my loves. So that's the first one, is to actually give your body some support on the level of the physical. And what I found is CBD, which is component from cannabis, which is a powerful plant, but it's not psychoactive, which means it doesn't alter your perception. But what it does, it opens up the pathways in your body that have been so constricted through living in a state of fear, survival, and unexpressed anxiety. Does this make sense, my loves? Does this make sense? Because the moment I put that 2 and 2 together, I was like, I can do mindset work until I am blue in my face. But there's also a body work. There's a body work. And then there is when my body is relaxed, I'm actually able to navigate my mind with more ease. Right? So then I use these awkward birthing sounds that I demonstrate in the beginning of this live stream. The body keeps the score. Yes, Crystal. The more I give myself permission to look silly and to look awkward without any investment in how I'm going to be received, my loves. Authenticity is the name of the game. The more my body relaxes, actually, and allows the transmission to come through without my ego personality being so invested and looking a particular way on camera, right? So let's just say that. And then the breathe, always breath. Yay! Andrew and I just got connected. Thank you so much, Andrew. I appreciate you. We connected through the Kajabi world. So the bigger the vision, the bigger the doubt that comes around that vision. So if you are a visionary who here to bring the vision to the world, doubt will meet you on the threshold. Doubt will meet you every part of the way, and it's just gonna rear its huge head at the threshold right before you move forward with the vision. So how do you navigate that part, you may say? This is how I navigate it. I remind myself that it's not my vision. Vision chooses me as the most appropriate vehicle for its expression. It's a co-creative partnership. So I say, Spirit, I am in full service to you. You sending this vision through my vehicle. My only duty is to focus on next moment. Focus on next moment. Can I feel my heart? Can I feel my feet? Can I make that awkward birthing sound to release the pressure valve? Oh my goodness, I am already halfway there. Right? I'm already halfway there. And then the next step is I say, Spirit, this is your vision. What's the most aligned baby step I can take next? And sometimes it could be like, Katerina, take your tail to brunch. That's your next aligned step. Actually, get yourself in the frequency of joy. Don't launch your visions from a place of pressure, from a place of survival, definitely not, or from the place of trying to prove something to yourself. You know how many timelines I change, schedules change? I was going to launch a program in January and had everything designed for it. You know, landing page designed, everything is built. Like all I had to do is just push the button on releasing that baby into the world. Yeah, you're welcome, darlings. You'll watch the replay. I'm just sharing. But something in my body in December said, no, this is not the time. You gotta pause it. And I listened, darlings. And I'm so glad because, you know, Spirit is ultimately in charge. What gets to be brought to the world? And the moment we entered January 2020, all I kept saying to myself, I am so glad that I didn't launch the program, because eclipse, full moon, Pluto and Saturn conjunction, first one in the last 38 years. I've been uploading so many new cosmic codes and upgrades, and I was like, sometimes it felt like I was hanging on, you know, and it's so powerful. And giving a voice to the collective, because that's what Spirit wants me to focus on. And the program will be launched in March. You know, it's no big deal. But darlings, I wanted to share with you that self-doubt doesn't leave. I wish I could tell you, you know what? You're going to become more masterful, more confident in yourself, and self-doubt just magically disappears. Nope. It's going to meet you at every threshold of your greatness. And the more you develop your ability to navigate it, to still the body, to accept what the body is doing, to find connection to your heart, right? To fuse your 3 power gates, your third eye, your heart eye, and your womb eye of a gentleman, your hara, right? 3 gates, 3 portals, fusing them all together. the more you begin to dance with that energy. You say, I am actually trusting my vision. The more the turbulence, the higher I'm rising on the altitude. You know, soon, my loves, I will be 27 hours on the plane. I'm going to Bali. And one of the things that I don't like about flying, beside dehydration, I get so dehydrated and a little restless of sitting so long, is altitude. I'm such a chicken when it comes to altitude. Like, the altitude begins to shake and I begin to chant my mantras. You know, I'm like, I understand that I am not afraid of death. You know, I've been on the other side many times in my out-of-body experiences and 400 ayahuasca journeys. I've seen that death is just another portal to the next dimension. But man, when that turbulence hits, I'm like, this is a surrender moment. I feel the turbulence because my physical body is afraid of it, not my soul, right? So it's the same thing with the vision. You may remember everything that I shared with you today, and when you are going to the next level, self-doubt and the turbulence of rising to the next level is inevitable. It's all, what are you focusing on moment by moment? Some of my students of my Sovereign Mind program are here. Kevin, I see you. And one of the reasons, darlings, I taught Sovereign Mind is because, you know, you can have all the strategies, all the tactics, but if you don't know how to access your higher creative mind and how to still the body, how to calm the animal that's called your body. The body is really like a soft, intuitive animal. I often describe it to a horse. Kevin, you're gonna like this metaphor, right? The body is like a horse. You know, I often call my car my horse. I'm like, this is my horse. But our body is similar like a horse. It has its specific needs of care. That's why when people go without human touch for too long, you know, we live in a society where loneliness is an epidemic. So more and more people are starved from a loving human touch. And your body is an intuitive animal, like a horse. Imagine your horse is not being loved, not being receiving affection. That's why a lot of, you know, you can give it to yourself, of course, and invest in a lot of loving massages and sensuality codes. So, my loves, that's why you get to comfort yourself and nourish yourself. And the whole message behind this transmission is that it's not wrong or abnormal or even unique to feel an anxiety. Imagine that every single person feels it. I'm simply letting you know this. Every single one feels it. Amazing, right? Liberating moment. So then you just say, okay, cool. How do I navigate it? Right? So I would recommend everyone to start with this magical medicine. I just ordered 3 bottles this morning. And I'll post a link, darlings. This is the second live stream I'm doing about it. And the second one is, a lot of times physicality really helps when I feel anxious. You know, so you get to help your body discharge the excess nervous energy. So working out, of course, right? And moving. That's why I go on runs. I run, I move. Today I feel like I'm gonna lift weights, yoga, hot yoga, something. To what happens during an anxiety, your head separates from your body. That's the easiest way to describe it. And all your energy just goes into one square place right here. Frontal lobe or the back lobe, I don't know. But you got the metaphor, darlings. On anxiety, your head separates from the body. One of the expressions. So how do we unite? How do we bring unity between the body and the head? The fastest way I describe this through movement, breathing, those wild, awkward sounds that I demonstrate in the beginning of this video if you just joined. All of that, it helps. And another too is, I've never spoken this out loud, but it's time right now, darlings. Whenever I channel high frequency ascended masters energy, archangels, goddess energy, whenever I teach deeply esoteric mystical classes, some of you have been in those, sometimes it takes me months to integrate the transmission that came through me. And I got to learn how to navigate it, how to actually become really curious. What does my body really require? If I'm here to bring this higher levels of truth through my body, what is needed to support my vehicle without frying up my nervous system? Because high level of sensitivity is an incredible gift for psychic. It's like you have the psychic satellite, right? That you receive the information. And when you activate your spiritual organs, you begin to see beyond the veil. It's available to every single one of us. Nothing makes me special being able to do this. I simply choose to spend decades in developing those gifts and embracing them and not running away from magnitude of them, but actually committed to them and say, what do I get to do to fine-tune my vehicle to become the receiver and then the transmitter? But even if you never want to be a medium or a channeler or the bridge between the mystical and the physical, we all get to open up our own communication with our own higher self. And that means inviting higher frequency energy into our bodies. And that means that at times the body will feel a turbulence of rising to a new altitude or frequency. And your brain will read it as an anxiety. You see how it works? Simple, right? And if you begin to open up your visionary abilities, and you begin to dream what is truly possible for your life, when you release any beliefs of limitations, you tap it into a higher and higher realms of the visionary reality. Darlings, I could speak about this for hours. Do you want a deep dive on this topic? Let me know in the comments if you do. I really hope the message for this was really to normalize this. Kevin, truth shivers. My loves, last night I received the final piece. I've been very quiet about this particular vision that is coming through that really helps me, that really will give me an opportunity to serve my community in a more consistent way. And I've been very, very quiet and also patient because I felt like I've been receiving it, one piece after another, one more puzzle. Last night it just all came through. So I'm so thrilled to share with you very, very soon, maybe even before I leave for Bali, what Spirit revealed to me, because the more we stabilize this new frequency on the planet, the more we'll go through these occasional, very normal parts of the turbulence, right? And the more we get to embrace these parts and learn to work with it constructively, because when you see yourself as an alchemist, you can turn on anxiety and transmute it and to transform it into gold of your wisdom, right? Alchemist is a person who can take anything arising in experience and transmute it into gold, right? So the more we begin to see every single one of us as alchemists of our life, the more we begin to, like you activate everything you can touch turns into gold. Every single one of us has that potential, but it has to be activated. And we activate it by willing to work through every single parts arising in the body. I will pause on this. I think I've talked for at least half an hour. Thank you so much for receiving this message, my loves. I think it was quite entertaining, at least from my perspective. So if you just joined and you want to hear the awkward birthing sounds that I demonstrated on this live stream that can help move an anxiety out of your body into the ethers, I suggest to replay it. Thank you, my loves. With all my heart, I will speak with you soon. I'm gonna go and break a sweat, do some lunges, some squats, listen to a very loud music that moves me. And that's my process. I love you with all my heart.